Hello, Nick.
Hello, Adam. How are you?
Dudes. So good.
Good.
So good. Today is a fun show because we're talking about a topic that is probably near and dear to people, but they don't know enough about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
What could it be?
It starts with an I.
Okay.
And it rhymes with schminvesting.
Investing.
Investing.
Yeah.
Good job.
Go.
So we're going to talk about investing, but we're going to talk about it in the context of a book by a guy named Phil Town, who wrote this book called Rule 1 Investing. There you go. Phil Town is an amazing dude, and I have to tell you all about him.
Yeah.
Do you know much about Phil Town?
I actually don't.
Yeah.
And I have not read the book, so I'm excited.
You do know a few things about Warren Buffett.
I do. Yes.
What do you know about Warren Buffett?
What I know about Warren Buffett is he is one of the richest men in the world.
Important.
Part of, he has large portfolios and companies that he really, really believes in, like Coca-Cola, Geico, where the other, he owns Berkshire Hathaway. Yep. And then there's, it's super, super expensive. I do know he's a long-term value investor.
Indeed.
So, he's in it for the long haul. He invests in companies that he believes in. And I heard he's also very down to earth and loves Coca-Cola.
Yeah. He loves Coca-Cola, Dairy Queen, See's Candies, all these companies that he's bought, right?
Yes.
Well, so the reason I ask about Buffett is Phil Town, who wrote the book, Rule 1 Investing, borrowed from Buffett's 2 rules of investing. Number 1 was don't lose money. And number 2 is, do you know what number 2 is? Don't forget rule number 1.
Oh, that's awesome.
Never forget rule number 1. So Rule 1 Investing is never lose money. And Phil Town, in writing the book, used sort of Buffettology principles to teach other people how to go out and buy stocks. Okay? So the premise of the book itself is really on 4 things. Number 1, you find a wonderful business. Number 2, you know what it's worth. Because would you agree that some companies are either priced less than they're worth or more than they're worth?
Yep.
Can you give me an example of one?
For example,
off the top
like Snapchat.
Okay.
Yeah. I think or a lot of companies will say that it's overpriced simply because they also don't generate revenue, but it's worth, I think, valuation was like $1 billion or something like
crazy.
that. Another one that I could probably think of is, well, that's the first one that comes to mind. What about Tesla? I know
that's
that there's
what
a lot
I'm
of news in the
thinking.
Tesla, so yeah, I'd say Tesla.
So know what the company is worth is number 2. Number 3 is, and this is an important one.
Okay.
When I read this for the first time, I was investing in real estate.
Okay.
And when he said it, it hit me right between the eyes. In the book, Phil Town says, if you realize you can buy $1 for 50 cents, you will never ever lose money. So the goal is to go out and find properties, whether that's a stock or a mutual fund or a property, a tangible property, that is on fire sale, 50 cents on the dollar, right? And if you know that you can buy a stock at 50 cents on the dollar, you also know that you'll never ever lose money, knowing that that stock really should be worth $1 and you're buying it at 50 cents. And then number 4, and this is the big one, you just repeat.
No.
Yeah, until you're very, very rich.
Very, very rich. That's awesome.
So Rule 1 is a really cool book, and I want to share a story about this because I started digging into the book and the teachings. I got on Phil Town's mailing list. He actually teaches a class on Rule 1 investing that happens a couple times a year. One in Atlanta, one in San Diego.
Okay. Which one did you go to?
I went to Atlanta.
Okay.
And what was cool was Phil Town owns what basically is like a horse ranch.
Okay.
In Atlanta or near Atlanta, and we actually got to go out to the ranch and have dinner, and he showed off his horses and all that kind of thing.
That's cool.
And genius, it's a genius move because number 1, he writes off the cost of his ranch as a business expense. Number 2, he bought the ranch on an absolute fire sale from someone that couldn't afford it. So he got it for probably 30 or 40 cents on the dollar.
So he's living the principles.
He's living it. Yeah, immensely.
Cool.
So I went to this seminar, and he was actually teaching people how to leverage these strategies in real life. And I saw him do a transaction that kind of blew my mind.
Okay, what was that?
Well, in the midst of teaching all of the principles, he said, hey, let's do a live transaction. And he happened to be trading options.
Okay.
And he teaches how to do an option strategy while you're there. And what he did was he was looking at Chipotle Mexican Grill.
Okay.
It was currently sitting around $312 or $315 a share. Mm-hmm. And he was, when you buy an option, you are forced to sell, but if you sell a put option, you're forcing someone else to buy. Okay. So he was selling he was selling put options. So I'm going to screw this up. What he was trying to do through the options was enable himself to buy the stock at $300 a share.
So he bought a call.
Yes.
A call is the right to buy, and a put is the right to sell.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
So he was doing call options.
He was doing call options.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's watching Chipotle the day of this training, and I'm thinking $300 seems $315 seemed high to me.
Yeah.
But he had done copious amounts of research, and he said, "Hey, listen, this is a $600 or $700 stock, easy." You know, and I'm looking at that going, this can't be realistic. But he was talking about, you know, how rabid the fans of Chipotle are. We're catching them in a downtime because at the time there was some, do you remember the salmonella or whatever it was with pork and all that?
Oh, okay.
So the stock had taken a hit. Well, he ends up buying, and I want to say it was 10 contracts.
Okay.
So do you know about one contract in options?
No, say more.
So one options contract is 100 shares of the stock.
Gotcha.
So if it was here comes math. Okay, you ready? So if there was $300 a share,
yep,
and he was buying 10 options contracts.
Okay. So you said one option contract is 100 shares.
Yep.
So and then there's 10 contracts, so that's 1,000 shares.
1,000 shares.
1,000 shares times $300.
Yes.
So you would add 2 zeros. So what did I say? 10,000 times 300.
It would be
1,000 times
1,000 times 300. That one's pretty easy.
Visually, I'm trying to envision the zeros and where the dollar goes. It's 300,000.
300,000. Good job. Yes. Gold star. Give him a dab. Dab. So give him a math dab. That looks like a multiplicator. There you go. So he's investing $300,000 real time right there. And today, now this was about 18 months ago that this happened, maybe 2 years. Mm-hmm. Today, the stock today for Chipotle Mexican Grill is, drum roll, $710 a share.
Wow.
Crazy. So I was an absolute devotee of Phil Towns. You know, when you go to this course, basically what he's doing, he gives you the tuition for free in exchange for the hope that you are going to invest in his software, which is a monthly subscription model. But really it's not bad. It's like $37 a month.
Oh, okay.
And I subscribed for probably about a year and a half before I had transitioned the account that I was using over to a financial advisor. But it was amazing. I mean, made some great decisions with it and super impressed by him. Ultimately, Phil Town talks about 4 M's. And the M's are the meaning of a stock. So as an example, can you imagine what that would mean? The
meaning of a stock, like, my personal relationship to it, if I have a particular affinity towards a company.
Yes, exactly. So does the company have meaning to you? Mm-hmm. So give me a company that would have meaning to you.
Apple and Starbucks.
Okay, good. So we're on pace there. The second M, now remember there are 4 M's. We have meaning. The second M is, does the business have a wide moat?
Moat.
Yeah.
Like M-O-A-T?
M-O-A-T.
M-O-A-T.
So can you imagine what that might be?
Like it's protected, or it's a safe investment?
Yep. Okay. So moat actually comes in a variety of different ways, but a good example would be a company like 3M. 3M, the tape and adhesive manufacturer.
Okay.
Their wide moat is the fact that they own the patents of all of the stuff they're selling.
Gotcha.
So that would be a moat for them.
Okay. So I'm assuming like engineering companies.
Yes.
Okay.
But also one of the moats could be financial. So take a stock like Apple.
Okay.
Do you know how much they have in cash reserves?
Oh, I know. I don't know how much, but I know it's like, if it were a country, it'd be like...
Look it up really quick. Let's see what it is. It's an insane amount. Okay. The company reported, now this is 2019, the company reports $245 billion in cash on hand.
Wow.
And they added $8 billion from last quarter.
In only 3 months.
In 3 months.
Wow.
Isn't that insane?
So
that would be a massive moat for
gotcha.
Apple. The last two, does the business have great management? So we would be looking at the leadership. Do they turn over regularly? Do they have good vision? The way you would know that is you would listen to the quarterly calls by the CEO and start to pay attention to that kind of stuff. And last is, does the business have a big margin of safety?
Okay.
And the margin of safety is if we're buying it at 50 or 60 cents on the dollar, does it have room to go up to $1 or $1.10 or 25 a share?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
So highly, highly, highly encourage this book because if you were someone who is doing your own trading and you're kind of rolling the dice to a certain extent, or you think you know why you're buying and selling and when, this book will very clearly articulate why you should and when you should.
Cool. What was the title again?
It is called Rule Number One Investing. Check out rule1investing.com for more information. Also, click on the link below to read a blog post about the trip that I took to the Philtown Investing Weekend. I think you'll dig that. I'm going to gift this to you. You need to read this.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
That's
this is
awesome.
for you.
Very cool.
Good. Explorers, check it out as well. Order the book. Final words.
Rule number 1 is don't lose money.
Don't lose money.
Rule number 2 is
Never forget rule
never
number
forget
one.
rule number 1. We'll see you soon.
See you next time.